Yeah. So Joe, we just talking about we had a good topic last time we recorded, and I should be using timestamps in here because we might chop this, but regardless, we had a past conversation just about preparing your kid for dating.
Yeah,
I think just the whole gist of this weekend was kind of interesting. And again, my son is the first rendition of myself that I ever got. I look in the mirror a lot, but now I don't gotta look no more. I just gotta look to the right and see a little darker version, and it's kind of interesting. So uh, I was just telling my story just about him going to homecoming. Man, he's a cool kid, but he was a little he was a little off it last year. He was like he didn't care, what I'm saying, it was nothing. He didn't think about it. So
Yeah.
I've been working with him socially, to make sure that he understands who he is and have self-awareness. I think that's something really big for our young black man. And I can
right.
honestly say, man, I got my son a therapist, and not that he's out of whack or anything like that, but just give him another outlet, a different perspective. And I can honestly say, man, he's had 8 out of 10 sessions, and things have really changed, man. And I'm really proud of him just to see him in a social environment that I wasn't sure that he was prepared for, but to see him and watch him interact, and then just hear his feedback and watch him glow up from it. It was like he kind of found his own lane, and I'm really proud of him, and happy for seeing him in that situation.
Man, come on, Joe. What's going on with that
Joe
Wi-Fi?
just don't Joe don't want to talk about this conversation for some reason, but that's what it is. So
So,
so
so,
talk to me about little Mike.
so I agree, man. It's one of my greatest joys to, as a parent, as a father, in particular, to be able to mold and groom your young boy, your young child, your young boy, your young man into, I don't want to say productive citizen, but just, it's like you playing 2K and you building your player. All right, he had 99 in this, he had 99 in that. You know what I'm saying? He had 99 in free throw. He's 6'6", 6'8", or whatever. It's a joy to arm my child with communication skills, leadership skills. Um, like I don't know if I told you, but we in a basement we built a room. Um, it's like an open concept basement, but we went down there and we A-frame, well not A-frame, but that's but like we framed a bedroom out. And I made sure I had the kids down there with me. We down here doing the studs, measuring everything, because I want my kids to be fearless when they grow up. I want them to say, "Oh, I could do that." You know what I'm saying? I don't want them to be like, "Dang, I can't do that." No, I want you to know anything you put your mind to, anything you see, it can be done. When we knocking the backsplash down, when we changing pipes, when we're hanging lights, if we're doing electrical work, they're always there. I want them to know that you can do it. When you put your mind to it, you can do it. So it's cool to
Mhm.
be the, I won't say the front seat driver, I would say the passenger, because it's their movie. I'm in their movie. I'm just a co-star. It's fun to equip them with the tools that they're going to need to be successful in life, and not be like a goofy, a lame, you know what I'm saying, but be productive. I want to teach them everything that I learned at 40. I want to teach them that at 16. Like
Please try.
we know so many things, but we can't take it to the grave. So I make sure whatever I know, I hurry up, 100-mile dash, and I tell everybody who got ears that can hear, because you can't take it to your grave. And the only way we can move forward as a society, as a community, is to teach, and then they do better quicker than we did better. So that's one thing that I find joy in with my kids.
Mm. You know what's interesting about raising kids, man?
What's
I
up?
I I, I feel like you in the sense that you want to mold them, right? But the hardest thing is having them value certain things that you know that they need, right?
Right.
So I'm sure when you said we're gonna build a room, everybody didn't say, "Okay, Dad, let's go build a room,"
And even if they
right?
did, they still didn't understand the magnitude. Right.
Well, I've run into situations where I'm instilling lessons. Very similar, man. Me and anything that I do, I brought my son out there to do. Whether it's working on cars, it's painting the house, is whatever. He works
Mm.
for me and my lot and stuff like that. And it's hard because I try to find those one-on-one moments as teachable moments, right?
Every moment is
But
teachable.
what I'm
Yeah.
learning is, but what I'm learning is, I have to I gotta scale back sometimes because it's not valuable to them if they don't have if they don't if it's hard to find what these kids are really interested in nowadays. I noticed that I don't think kids take to some of the things and the ideas like we would have. Like remember when we were coming up, bro? Could you imagine like if your dad sat down and was trying to give you something constructive out of the toolbox of stuff that you have in your life, you would have jumped on it. You know what I mean? And I know I would have. And man, some of the guys that I looked up to when I was growing up, I jumped on, a lot of the things that they tried to present to me. And it's just really interesting trying to find that thing or to find that moment where they kind of get it and they have value. I think what I have to learn is that I just want to expose my kids
There you go.
to everything that I know. I
Yeah.
think it's exposing them to it. So one day they can, if even if it's something that they didn't, it wasn't for them at the time, they can always go back and have a reference to it because I don't know what they're gonna be, bro. I don't know what they're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? We were hoping our kids won't be lame, but I said I have to think about how we grew up. I'm kind of glad my kids are lame. uh,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So it's different, bro. I had to sit back and be like, all right, yeah, bro, because where we come from, we normalized a lot of things that I'm so glad that our kids don't have to normalize and don't have to identify with or steer away from. You know what I mean?
Let me say this real quick. I'm gonna let Joe speak before he get dropped again. Um, don't worry about
Ain't got no
how
bars.
fast. Don't worry about how. There go the X. You about to look. I knew. There it is. Don't worry about how fast they value it or pick up on it. Like you said, just lay the seeds. Lay the seeds. It'll recall itself when it's time to recall itself. Because a child or a person doesn't go by what you say; they go by what you do. They revert to their default setting. If they saw you doing this and they were a participant in that said thing, then they're gonna do that eventually. So just keep doing what you're doing. Don't
Whew.
don't worry about what they're gonna be. Or just keep, like you said, just keep laying the seeds of foundation, and then
And it's
they'll have some
true.
tools to work with. Joe,
Yo,
before you,
man. Can you hear me?
yes,
Okay.
how many kids you got, brother?
I got three kids, man. I got my oldest is 31, middle child, girl, she 20. She about to be 22 in about um in 11 days, and then my youngest is 20.
So he's a senior of the group.
He
He's,
what?
I said you're the senior of the group, so you've exceeded both of us as far as the age of children. So what has
Yeah,
been you got boys or girls? What you got?
I got two boys and a girl.
Perfect. So what has
Hmm.
been your biggest challenge with your two boys and trying to mold them into what you feel is a productive citizen or a above average male in the society? What has been the challenge? What has been your strategy? Talk to us.
Man, great question. And if I could be honest with you, me and my wife discuss this all the time, and we know that parenting don't come with a book.
Facts.
So with that being said, everything we've done and everything we do has been trial and error. You know, we thought that all our children should go to college. So our oldest son, he went to college, but a year later he was back at home because it
Mm,
wasn't for him. He wasn't made for it. You know what I'm saying? My daughter, she's off to college. She love it. She's on her last year. Boom. My youngest, in his head, he did not want to go to school. He didn't even want to go to high school, middle
Mhm.
school, elementary. He wasn't a school person. Never was a school person. Smart as a whip, but just not into school. And he went straight into the job for us. As far as preparing them, honestly, like I said, it's a trial and error. The only thing I know to tell my boys to do is work, man. That's the only thing I can see. Whether it's you want to quote unquote be an entrepreneur or whether you know what I'm saying, whatever you want to do, you got to work towards it. Nothing, nobody. I always tell all my children, nothing is free. You know what I'm saying? Nothing is free. I don't care what it is. My daughter, if a dude tell you want to take you out to dinner and do all this kind of stuff, I'm like, baby girl, no. First thing you know that's not free. He ain't trying to just take you out just because he like you and you nice. No, he's trying to get into them. He's trying to get into the pants.
Mhm.
My sons, I tell them it's nothing for free. You got to work for everything you get. If it's free, then 9 times out of 10, either you're gonna go to jail behind it, or it's gonna be a stipulation where you got to pay so much money back. You're gonna wish you had paid for it. So far as like just giving them something, like I said, the only thing I know is to work. You work. That's how I got everything I had a desire for. You know what I'm saying? I work. You know what I'm saying? I work hard. I work long, whatever it was. I just put in that. I know to put in that grind. You know what I'm saying? So to be honest with you, I think just to be I'm just being honest. I think I could have did a better job far as like giving them like I heard my man talking how he talking to his man, you didn't want your kids to be lame and stuff. I don't think I had that I don't think I had that worry or anything like that. I just wanted them to, enjoy life because I know after living for so long, trying to keep up with the Joneses, trying to be cool, all this kind of stuff, it's just fall by the wayside after you get so you just realize that it's about family, it's about enjoying yourself, and it's about, you know what I'm saying, maybe helping people out, you know what I'm saying, along the way, you know what I'm saying, and not necessarily trying to be this, you know what I'm saying, this person with all this status. I told you earlier, I took me and one of my partners, we went to look at a car, right? Uh, we went up to Norcross. And so we went to look at a Honda. And so I called the guy. I said, we over here. We here look at a car. He was like, yeah, I'm putting gas in my McLaren. I was like, why we had to know that? I don't know, but people just be wanting to put on for no reason. I mean, I don't care, that you got a McLaren. My partner didn't even know what it was. He was like, what's that? I was like, it's a foreign car. That's all. I don't know. I don't know if I answered your question, but if I didn't, if you,
It's just funny. I'm laughing because yeah, it's like you could tell by based on people's conversation what they truly value. If you was putting
Mhm.
car in your vehicle, you just be like, I want to go put some gas in the car. But
right.
the fact that you had to say what the car was, lets us
Hmm.
know everything we need to know. Whether
Right.
you meant to do that or not, it's all subconscious. Like, bro, like you letting me know it's
Can
a
we
McLaren,
unpack that?
huh? Yeah, let's unpack that.
Man, I got a different perspective with that, bro.
Okay, go ahead.
So the person who's telling you that he's putting gas in a McLaren specifically,
Hmm.
that's for that's for his perceived ego,
Mm.
right?
I don't know.
So so if if he was per se talking to somebody who has uh, a Ferrari Performante or $1 million Lamborghini, $2 million
Hmm.
Lamborghini,
Right.
he don't have conversations like that. People are only gonna try to expose themselves to people who they feel like they better than because people get joy of feeling that they've accomplished something. The fact that
Mm.
you haven't done it gives insecure people confidence. Because let's
Wow.
let's keep it a buck. That McLaren don't mean nothing to people who bought a McLaren.
Right.
You know what I'm
Honestly,
saying?
honestly, I,
You
I I I mean to cut you off, but I drive around in a '05 Toyota Tundra, and I wouldn't trade that Tundra. for 100 McLarens. Why? Because that Tundra gonna do work. And right now, I'm sitting at almost 400,000 miles and it's still running like it got 200 on it.
Sheesh.
So I don't even want your McLaren because I know what comes with it.
Mm.
Well, well, I hear that. Um, so I think my conversation is less about cars and
Hmm.
more about the perception of
The
status,
per,
and
the person, yeah.
how people yeah, how people try to
Okay.
supersede their ego,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And what I'm gonna say is this: I disagree with you
Hmm.
in the
Go
fact
ahead.
that a person who- a person who can afford a McLaren, the person who really can afford a McLaren,
Hmm.
they probably not worry about the work part of things, right?
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so my thing is, I don't want to use myself as an example, but I think
Then don't.
it'll give us relevance. Well, no, I'm not going to use myself.
No, go ahead.
I'm not going to use myself as an example in that case. But why would you care which car I'm putting gas in? That's how I look at it.
I would
We
I
honestly.
don't
don't.
care. Hold on. We don't care which car you put. That's why you don't need to tell because we don't care.
That
That's why we
that's
don't
my
care.
point.
So you specify. So
So
you
him,
specify what car you like, bro. Like, huh? I got 5 cars
yeah.
sitting
And so
outside.
what
I'm not gonna tell you which car I'm putting gas in. I'm just gonna put gas in the car. Like, what?
Right.
so let me tell you what's crazy. Um, and I had to think about this, even going back to when we was teenagers. He didn't buy that McLaren for him.
Of course
He
not.
bought that McLaren to say that,
Mhm. Well,
just so he could say that.
wait, wait. Now, remember, I said I went to a car to buy a car. It was like a car dealership. So the
Uh,
tag didn't have a personal plate on it. It had a dealership tag on it.
okay.
So it wasn't his car, but just he was driving it around.
Oh,
But he just I guess he had to specify that. I don't know why he said that. To be honest with you, 'cause, like to
oh,
me, my partner gave the perfect response. Like what is that? Like he didn't even know what it was. Like what is that?
No, we missed that. Yeah.
okay. So I think I read it wrong. I'm thinking you thinking it's just some random dude is letting you know he putting gas in the McLaren.
Nah, we
If that
went,
was the
yeah.
case, then my comment stands.
Huh?
Yeah, if
You said
that was the
your
case, my comment stands. Yeah, because it's some different context to the dude that was at a dealer. I gotta withdraw my comment on that because I that situation is just a little indifferent. It's probably
yeah.
more to it than that. But I
Okay, I
feel where
see
you
what you're
coming
saying.
from in a sense. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
still don't care. Like you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I don't.
You know,
I don't. Cause it brought me to we was talking about our kids. So I had a conversation with my son just yesterday. We went to pick up him a car. He bought a used Honda. I say that
hmm
because I'm a Honda fan. I like Hondas. I bought a few of them, and and so he got it's like the guy wanted like 2,600 for it. So he got the money in his hand. He's spreading the money. I looked at him. I said, "What are you doing? Stop that!" You know what I'm saying? And he started giggling. I'm like, well, I said, "So what would you rather have?" I said, "Would you rather have?" I was naming. He liked the McLaren. He liked the McLaren. He said, "Would you want a McLaren and $5,000 in the bank, or would you want $50,000 in this Honda, whatever?" He was like, "Oh, the Honda." But if I know my son like I know my son, he would rather have that McLaren and the $5,000 in the bank. But he just said that just to satisfy me.
Right.
So,
What I've noticed is younger people, even myself, when we're in our 20s, we're more worried about the culture and
mm,
fitting in with
mm,
the culture
mm.
versus trying to fit in with the values that we were raised in. So I'm sure when your son turns 30 or 40 or whatever, his views will level set, reset, and then he'll default to what you put in him. But right now, it's hard for kids, male and female, for the majority of kids to buck against the culture. And the culture is McLarens, Lambos, what's the Mercedes Benz truck, the G Wagon, I mean, that's it. That's so everybody's chasing. They're like a fly to a light. Everybody wants
Right.
to be that thing. So I'm not surprised that he said what you wanted him to say,
Hmm.
or what he
Yeah.
thought you wanted him to say, and he really
Right.
feels the way he feels because the culture is strong, man. Man, I look
It's
at my
strong.
kid. Go
It's
ahead,
strong. It's strong. I was asking the question: is that strong?
brother. Think about it when you was in your 20s. You was trying to fit in with unless you're an exception. Hold on, unless you're an exception, the
I
mass
don't know
the mass
because
majority of young adults
yeah,
try to
you're
fit
right.
in with the culture,
You're right. You're right.
just like
You're right.
kids, just like as a kid. Just think of a child when they're first born up until adolescence. They're trying to please the parent.
Mm.
As soon as they hit adolescence to grown, they're trying to please their peers.
Right.
Once
That's
they get grown, now they're trying to please the culture. They're trying to fit in with the culture. That's the
mm.
majority. That's not everybody. You got some exceptions that's smart and mature and don't run the red light. But I'm just saying, in
I
general, go ahead.
mm. I couldn't
So
figure out what it was. So I'm sorry, Ken. I'm just wanting to make this one point. So I couldn't figure out what it was. Like, so that's what it is.
Peer pressure.
Damn.
Everybody faces peer pressure at all ages. I have peer pressure. Everybody has peer pressure. If you have a peer, then there's going to be pressure. Go ahead, Ken.
um that's interesting. I kind of agree, but I got a different stance on it, Mike.
Hmm.
Um, Let me tell you what my stance is different, and you can probably connect to it. Um, so right now, you're still in in proximity to where you were born and raised, right?
Right. Yeah.
So even though you're not in the trenches, obviously, right? Um, you're still in the geographical environment, bro. Um, so that presents a culture in itself, right?
Mm.
Man,
Mm.
let me tell you this. Moving across the country and being in a completely different environment, I see how my kids respond to the culture because their local influences look at the culture differently, bro.
Mm.
Um, it's really interesting. If
So
so, let me back up to the point with the car, with what Joe Blaze was saying about the car situation, why he wanted this and that, right? Well, let me ask this question, Joe. Um, what if the reality of the situation was that your son grew up in an environment where McLarens are common? You know, those were
mm.
things that were common, and he just wanted it because hey, it's a car. It's a car I like. That's what I know.
Right. Right. Okay, I see what you're
You see what
saying.
I'm saying?
So like say like in my garage I had a McLaren and I just had got rid of one and what I'm saying, that was the thing. Then it would be like that's a
Yeah,
normal thing for him. Like it would be like, okay, I want a McLaren because my dad got one, whatever, whatever. I
yeah,
get that. I get that. Yeah, yeah. I can see
yeah.
that. I definitely can see that.
So
But
what I'm sorry.
no, I was just gonna say because subconsciously kind of like directing him to be a Toyota or a Honda person.
Yeah,
It's not. Hold on. It's not. It's not about
yeah,
the McLaren. It's not about the McLaren. It's the McLaren because of the price value. Joe was trying to teach his son to be financially responsible with the money that he's holding. It's not a. It could be the Honda, the Toyota could have been 200 grand. It's not
Hmm.
about the car. The name of the car. It's the value that's assessed or the value that's
Hmm.
tagged to the car. I don't think
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
conversation. I think it's a price value.
I think it could be both, actually,
Hmm.
right?
Okay.
So so think about it like this. I think we got to be careful, and I learned this.
We as
We
in
got to
who?
be careful.
When you say we, who you?
I say as parents, right? I say as parents, as
Okay.
black men,
Okay.
Um, I've learned this personally. I don't like putting limitations on my kids, especially as it comes to finances and financials, just because you know it's all about leverage. I know I understand how money works and it's about leverage. So um, I will I will direct them to doing the things to get them to those items that they want, right? But I want
Hmm.
them to have value. And I think what you're saying is, um, first and foremost, you've only saved up 2,500. You're not in the position, son, to be wanting a McLaren. Um,
Right.
Hmm.
my conversation would be okay. So if that's what you want, let's talk about how you're gonna get to a McLaren if that's what you want. That means there's some things you're gonna have to change about yourself, son. There's some, I'll open that conversation.
Mm, I like that.
And what I notice is, yeah, what I notice is, they want everything, but then they
Hmm.
dread the conversation behind it because the conversation is gonna have some action, it's gonna have some
Facts.
change, it's gonna have some
Facts.
accountability, you
Facts.
know.
Yeah.
Um, so what I try to do is go ahead and dream, but I can give you the
Hmm.
reality behind it.
So
then,
let,
then
let me.
then you know what they want to do. But you got it, daddy. But you can, daddy. Nah, bro. This ain't.
Right.
You don't
Right.
sacrifice what I sacrifice. You got to make the
Go
Right.
ahead.
changes and be disciplined.
Go ahead, Joe.
So this, I'm gonna add another element to it. Because I know we talk about finances, we talking about Angel Reese, and she make this money, and she do this, she do that.
Hold on,
So
hold on, hold on. Before you react that, let's go ahead and play that video. Glad you said
okay,
that.
go ahead, go ahead.
See if I can find
Oh,
that.
pop that. So we talking about Angel Reese and that Neil money, huh?
Yeah, buddy.
She makes $200,000 per game, but she can't afford a $5 burger. She's Angel Reese. Do you know why? The truth will absolutely move you. 1. She sends half her money back home every month. Angel grew up in a single-parent household in Maryland. Now that she's making millions, she still sends 50% of her earnings home every month. Her younger brother plays D1 football, her grandma needs full-time care, and she covers it all. 2. She pays rent for 6 families in her hometown. Quietly, Angel helps pay rent for 6 families in her old neighborhood. She spent over $180,000 in the past year alone to keep them from being evicted. No media, no flexing, just handwritten notes that say, "I've been where you are." 3. She's covering tuition for 20 girls who want to play ball. Instead of buying a $70,000 car, Angel used that money to pay school tuition for 20 girls in Baltimore who dream of playing college ball. She also bought them uniforms, shoes, and team gear, spending over $85,000. Does Angel Reese inspire you now? Let us know in the comments.
Mm. I'm gonna let somebody take the lead on it. I got some comments.
Well, I'm just gonna go back to my original statement, and I go back to when my oldest son, he was a little younger, so it was probably about maybe 15, 16, 17 years ago, or something like that. He loves Nike. Like he still loves Nike to this day. Me, I'm not a Nike. I never was a Nike fan like that. I thought they was alright, but I never was a Nike fan. I was more of a Adidas fan. Not so much now either, but that's I digress. So I would tell him, I say, hey, you got this much money. Do you want to go and just get this one pair of shoes and be looking fly in these pair of shoes, or do you want to go buy 2 pair of shoes for this one price for 2 pair of shoes? So being who he is, like I said, Mike said the coach is strong. So yeah, I'm tending to lean with Mike. So instead of him getting the 2 pair of shoes for the price of one, he loves Nike so much he buys the 1 pair of shoes. And this, I think, the
Uh,
sad. Go ahead. That's it. Yeah. So
so can I ask a question?
Go ahead, Ken. You got it.
So my question to that, Joe, is this: Why?
why what?
Why not let him buy the pair of shoes he wants to buy?
Okay, so he could definitely buy the shoes, the one pair of shoes, right? But the thing about it is, when those one pair of shoes wear out and start looking rusty, you just gonna be rocking the one pair of shoes and still be looking rusty. But if you had that second
So
pair, hold on, if you had that second pair, you could switch them out, and that one pair won't get wore out so fast. And it's not necessarily that you downgrading in brand, you downgrading in style.
Go
so
ahead, Ken.
I want to ask this question. Can you turn the music down a little bit, Mike? I want to put this out there. So, what type of mentality do you really think that that conversation is teaching your kid? I understand value, right? I choose to look at the situation like this. If it's one pair of shoes that you really want,
Mhm.
cool, you can have it. But you got to put the work in so that that one pair of shoes is not all you can get.
Yeah, I see
See, I
both
don't
sides.
want my kids. Yeah, I don't want my kids. Bro, I grew up, I would say middle class, but we had our times, right? And there were times that, there were things that I wanted that I couldn't get, and then I had to make what makes sense from a value perspective. Why not get this? You can't get that. You know what I'm saying? Why get two pair of shoes? Why not get two pair of shoes, for the price that you can get one pair of shoes? But let's look at the big scheme of life. The shoes. Get what you want. Period. But you have to put the work in. You have to make the sacrifices in life so that those things aren't affecting your outcome. The only reason why somebody will really be talking about the value of shoes is because somewhere in their life, the money or the price, the exchange of the service for those goods is overvalued. But other places in life, we just look at it as shoes. Go get those. When you want some more,
So
get some more.
so n- I'm a I'm a answer that, but I'm not really using the retrospect. I'm using the upgraded version. So we just found out recently that none of these name brands are the prices that they charge. Whether it's Nike, whether it's Fendi, whether it's Gucci, whether it's Louis, it's just a brand with a tag on it, and they overcharging us.
Right.
That's
So,
capitalism.
well, so what? Give or take. So, what are we really paying for? Are you really getting that quote unquote quality? Are you know what I'm saying? I think personally for me, it'd be different if I was going out getting some hand stitched Italian moccasins or shoes, you know what I'm saying? That's worth that money. But when you going out and getting some tennis shoes that they make mass production, that they have a similar pair that look exactly like it, it just they don't have the name on it for instead of $100 for $15 online. I'm talking about the two
So, so,
seventies.
so I'm with you, but don't move the goalposts. You adding a little bit more to the conversation. So
I said I was gonna move it. I said I was gonna move it forward a little bit, but let me take it back.
okay,
So
okay.
So I don't want to divulge my information too much because I know it can get real personal, and I think sometimes it take that personal part for people to get an understanding. But I didn't grow up in the middle class. I grew up poor. I grew up with food stamps. I grew up with in the hood, ghetto, whatever. And I'm not flexing that. Not one day I am out because I could tell. How old are you, Ken?
45.
If you don't mind me, if you don't, okay. So you grew up in we ain't that far apart, but I don't think you will remember or I don't know where you're from, but where I'm from, we didn't have running water to the house or sewage coming from the house to the house. We had to go use our house.
Where you grew up at,
So
Joe? Joe, where you grew up from?
the south side of Atlanta,
Yeah. Okay.
like
So
like
yeah.
like Fairburn, College Park, all that little South Side area right there, really all that little area right there. If you ever, so they didn't have running water like that. So I grew up on a poor and it was poor. Not so much that we couldn't eat, you know what I'm saying? Because we made do. But like I said, the one thing I taught my sons is you have to work. If you think somebody gonna feed you, if you think you're gonna get something free, it's nothing gonna come for free. I think that me trying to get them like I said, like I told y'all from the beginning, this parenting didn't come with a book. And most definitely, I know that I've given my children way more than I had as a child, because I didn't have the opportunity to have any Nikes, and it was out then. I didn't have any Adidas. Converse was the big thing. We didn't have those, bro. We had back in those days, Family Dollars was in business and they were selling shoes. And they used to call them, you can go look it up for yourself, they used to call them jocks, J-O-X, jocks. Yeah. Those were like the thing. And if you got a pair of Pumas, you was the man. So I don't put a lot of emphasis on it because I know that, me personally, I know that, it's something bigger than that. But I feel like, me personally, if he don't grasp or they don't grasp what I'm trying to teach them, they're gonna fail. It's gonna fail, and they're gonna have to learn that hard. That's why I try to teach my kids the way I teach them, because I don't want them to have to go through the stuff I went through or see the days that I've seen. And I get it. You want to give them room to grow and move and all that kind of stuff, but at the same time, hard times it can hit anybody. It don't have a bullseye. It can go anywhere.
I want to talk about that, bro. I want to grab something. I definitely want to expound on that. Hold on one second.
Yo, that's real. I feel like we all starting as parents. We starting from a starting line that we started from, and then we just teach our kids to be better than what we had. And everybody's starting line is different. Like you said, if somebody grew up middle class, that's their starting line. So then they're teaching they to be above middle class. If you grew up lower class or poor, you teaching your kids to be above poor. So everybody's starting line is different. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to this. I see both sides of the parenting. You more aligned to the way I look at things. I look at things more of value versus, well, I should say quality versus quantity. And then I like Ken's perspective. I respect Ken's perspective because it's different from mine, because Ken's like, yeah, let him get the Jordans. So he's setting a standard, a precedent. You want them Jordans, this is your start. That's your start line. If you want them Jordans instead of those two Adidas or those two LA Gear, all right, if you want them two Jordans, then this is what you got to do to keep them and maintain it and multiply it. So I respect his outlook on how he wants to push his kids, even though fundamentally I don't align with him. Fundamentally, I'm more aligned with you, Joe. But I still see the value in what he's pushing. He's so go ahead. Ken.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. I just got back on. I didn't know if you were finished.
When I stop, I stop because it's one mic. I don't want to ruin the quality. So when I stop, I'm not honking out, or I just want one voice to be heard. So if you want to speak, I'm gonna let you speak. Go ahead.
No, it was a slight delay. I didn't know if you were done. That's why I started talking. My bad, Mike. Finish your thought.
It's cool. No, I was just saying I respect both of y'all's perspective as far as how you meet what your child wants, the needs of your child. I said I'm more closely aligned with how Joe Blade said. Why get Jordans when you can get two Adidas? That's being financially. I don't want to put words on it, but that's a different strategy financially, right? For you to be more prudent how you spend. But Ken is saying, no, let him get the Jordans. So he know what level that is and the level you need to be on and to succeed and multiply on that level versus staying down at this level of always buying two pair of Adidas. So you're on a level. You're on a level when you're only buying a Honda or two Adidas versus Jordan. Yes, go ahead, dream, strive. I'm gonna let you dream, go. But I'm gonna tell you how to maintain that dream and multiply that dream versus keeping you at a different level. So even though I'm mostly aligned with you, Joe Blaze, I respect
Mhm.
what he's saying because that also is beneficial. Go ahead, Ken.
Okay, so Joe, I want you to think about this. I want you to consider this. Um, I came from a fairly similar circumstance. I'm not gonna say we didn't have running water. I'm not gonna go there, but I would say we were lower middle class at times. Food stamps was something that I've dealt with. We were middle class for a minute. My dad had a pretty decent job at Ford Motor Company, so he made good money. But this next point kind of goes to my overall point. He wasn't good with finances. He didn't understand money. He didn't understand a dollar. So some of the principles that you're talking about, those are the same decisions that my parents had to make and I had to make growing up. Well, no, we ain't, I can't get you the Jordans, but you can get two of these. You can get some Payless to go play outside, and you can get one pair of Nikes with the ones with the swoosh that look like Jordans, but they just not. I get that. I'm not disagreeing with you, brother. But let me tell you what changed my life. I don't have it right now, but Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I want you to take a moment and read that book. It talks about the thought process of two fathers. And when I heard you speaking, it almost seems like you're limiting your child to your own personal capabilities, to what you went through growing up. I think if you take on that approach, you don't give your child the knowledge to be better. So what I do is I do stuff like this, bro. I get my principles from stuff like this. Six figures, 6 steps to 7 figures. Um,
But
magnetic
your,
capital.
but your Wi-Fi bogus.
You see it? Magnetic capital.
I can't laugh, cuz. I cannot laugh.
It's always the rich dudes with the bogus
Look,
Wi-Fi.
Mm,
look, the millionaire mind, right?
mm,
Okay.
You see this? Think and grow rich,
mm.
right? Um, I even go to stuff like this. The story factor. That's how you sell. That's how you get people.
No free
This is
promo,
very
bro.
important.
No, bro. No free promo. What are you doing, bro? They're not sponsors. What are you doing, bro? What are you
This is
doing?
important. You see that? You see what that book says?
No, I
How
don't. You
money
gotta read
works.
this. Okay.
You see it?
How money works.
No free promo, bro. What are you
Yes.
doing?
So
What are
the
you doing?
reason, and I'm not trying to get free promo, but let me tell you this, brother. I want you to think about the big scheme of things. Who gives a damn about some shoes? Only a person that can't afford shoes. See, if you use these concepts, I put concepts in their head so that once they get older, they won't have to make a decision. This makes more value. If they want the shoes, they can have it. But I want them to understand capitalism, right? So if they decide to go pay 200% price increase for a pair of shoes, they can make that decision comfortably. But I don't want them having to deal with the mindset of you have to hold on to what you got because you don't know when the next one's coming.
You got to
I
be
think
careful,
that's
Ken.
a
You got to be
that's a
careful, Ken. Now you're assuming that's what's implied.
no, no,
No,
no. I'm saying
just added
my
something that
thought
wasn't.
process. I'm not implying that. Understand where I'm coming from. Understand where I'm coming from. My concept is that I don't want to limit my children because of what I experienced. You understand what I'm saying? And we could subconsciously do that. I found myself kind of pointing my kids away from a direction that I knew I went in and I wasn't successful. I had to
Mm,
stop. I have to make sure I gave them the tools so they can navigate and they can capitalize off of any situation. So when it comes down to the mindset of shoes, sure, I agree with you with value, right? Hey, if this is all you got because you've only done this to earn this, you only have $100 to spend. Make the most of that $100. Sure, I understand that. Get two pairs of shoes as compared to one, but I don't want to put in their head that they have to think and make those life decisions about something like shoes.
Can I say this real quick?
I don't want. Yeah.
The same decisions that you're crapping on, and I know you're not crapping, I'm just using that for lack of better terms, is the same strategy that entrepreneurs use to limit the overhead so they can maximize their profit.
Yeah.
So Joe is saying, hey, get the two Adidas, don't go for the Jordans. It's the same principle as if an entrepreneur say, hey, don't get this so that you can maximize your profit. It's like it's the same principles. We're employing the same principles, but for some reason, when it's employed on this side, it's like, oh, you're limiting your child and let them dream. Bro, conglomerates, steel mills are so cheap. Big businesses are so cheap in how they want to dish out versus what they want to receive. Nobody bats an eye. But soon as the everyday man that works a 9 to 5 employs that same principle, now all of a sudden he's small money. Yeah, he's dumb. You small money. You're holding your child back. These are the same principles.
So let's talk about that.
You're
talking about a person who owns the business.
Hold on, Ken.
Oh, I didn't.
Go
ahead,
Ken. No, you go ahead. You good? Go ahead. I'm not gonna lose my time.
Okay, Mike. When you bring that example, I agree with you, right? But let's talk about who we're talking about. You're talking about an owner of a company. The owner of a company, right? You're talking about profit margin, right? You're talking about cutting costs, right? I'm completely understanding of that fact. But those are the actions that you put in place so that you're not worried about the price of a pair of shoes, personal shoes. That's what I'm saying. Put the principles in place for him.
He did. He said, "Would you rather have 50,000?" He said, "Would you rather have 50,000 in the bank?" Ask any entrepreneur, "Would you rather have 50,000 in the bank and drive this car and have this?" And they would choose the 50,000 in the bank. They wouldn't choose a McLaren. Any entrepreneur wouldn't choose option B. So that's what I'm saying. Like, what's wrong with what he's saying?
I would choose the McLaren because the McLaren is worth more than $50,000. I understand value.
I said that to him too. But let me ask you a question, Ken. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. I got five cars. I got a Ford. I got a Ford Taurus. I got a Subaru. I got a Toyota. I got a Toyota Camry. I got a Honda Accord, and I got a Range Rover. A BMW 5 Series 60. Out of those 5 cars, do you remember them? Do you remember the 5 cars?
Yeah.
Out of those 5 cars, most billionaires. Which one of those cars you think most billionaires own? Besides all of them. But which one do you think they mainly own?
I don't have a comment on that. I've never given that thought. I don't know. I just don't have a comment on that. I don't know.
Okay. What about guess? What about guess?
I know plenty of millionaires. I work for a couple of millionaires. I work for a small trucking outfit, and that's why I disagree with Ken on a lot of your philosophies, because I'm shoulder to shoulder with millionaires, and they have a Toyota Tundra. They have nothing that's flashy. So what would a millionaire most care about with? Probably be the BMW, the S series, depending on the millionaire you're talking about. If we talking about a white millionaire, then probably a Toyota, or I don't know. It just depends on the race. If you been and it ain't the race, it's the occupation also. Because if you're in the business of procuring business, if you're in the sales business, you got to show up in something nice. That's just the way of the game. You got to show up with something nice, or they're not going to take you seriously. You're not going to get the business. So it depends on the business that you're in. As a millionaire, what you pull up in.
So what you say, Ken? You agree with that?
I agree, and the reason why I didn't answer that is because that's kind of a loaded question.
It is. It's very loaded.
I don't think there's I think the way that you're setting up the question, you're making the assumption that we all kind of look at millionaires the same, or millionaires in the same industry, or we all.
It's a mindset. We talk about a mindset, though, right?
I don't think it's
and the reason I use cars because a lot of people, when people buy cars, we was out the other day doing it, and I just went, when people buy cars, it's an emotional buy. People don't really understand it, and I got to start making more videos about people buying these cars because they go out and they buy these cars and they think they're getting a perfect car. When really, in actuality, most cars have been wrecked. They say, okay, it's free and clear on the what is it, the Carfax? Oh, I did a Carfax on it. It said been in no wrecks, no accidents, and they got this. It's been most cars been in an accident, even if it's a fender bender, a bump. It's been in an accident. Period. Point blank. Whether you're buying it from a dealership or whether you're buying it from a personal person. My partner, he wanted to go to a dealership. I was like, you gonna pretty much be buying the same car. At least when you buy it from a person, if they say they the only owner, you can see it on the title, or you can look it up. You see it on title, and they gonna pretty much tell you, okay, I done did all this stuff to it, or I haven't did anything to it. You see what I'm saying? But I'm off base. Let me come back on base. So this guy, he did I think he did a short on it. Actually, he did a long form video, and he said I think he did 5 cars, top 5 cars. And he said, which one do you think most millionaires drive? I'm talking about for their own personal vehicle, not something they just want to flex in. And the top car was a Toyota Camry. That was the top car, a Toyota Camry. Period, point blank, out of all the millionaires. And they surveyed a lot of them. The 5th one was the Ford, and then the Subaru came in 4th. The BMW wasn't in there at all, period, point blank. Nobody wanted a BMW. It wasn't even in the race. So I just say that to say, and I'm going off of what Mike was saying, like, a lot of these guys, they look at the bottom line. Some of them go and they spend like whatever, but if they spend like that, 9 out of 10, they know that money is coming back. Or they know they're going to get it. Somehow or another, they get it. My cousin used to do all kinds of stuff illegally, and he got a line that said, "I'll spend it because I'm gonna get it all back." Just kind of like flexing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, they know they're gonna get the money back. It's coming back. They already got the forecast. Okay, next month I got that big bonus coming in. It's gonna be $30,000. So I'm gonna go over here and do this real quick. We can go on a trip. Blah, blah, blah. That's how people think. And most of the stuff they already bought off, like their houses and their cars. They already bought this stuff. And these people, they rent. To be honest with you, they rent. They might get put out next month. They don't even know.
All right, Ken, you get the last word. We're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna agree to disagree, or we're gonna agree. Whatever. Let's go. Let's get it.
My last word is just this, man. Just from the topic. I'm cool with I'm cool with everybody's take. I just want to make sure that I'm not limiting my kids. In any shape, form, or fashion. I want to make sure I'm a resource to them. So if it is something they aspire to, instead of them telling them no, I can give them a path to it. And it's up to them if they choose that path. It's up to them to choose what value is for them at their level. So I'm cool with it.
Great topic. We're gonna get one more topic, and we're gonna let Joe get up out of here because his bedtime is coming up real quick. So.
You want to let Joe pick something?
You got a topic, Joe?
Let Joe pick something?
You got one?
Shoot, man. Does it matter what it is?
No, it don't matter. No. You ain't gotta
Whatever,
do that.
whatever.
Let's
We
see.
three dudes. Hey, we three dudes in a barbershop.
Say
Let's
three
get
dudes in
it.
the barber shop. Okay. Let's do the barber shop then. So, it was months ago. Can I just lay it out here and then y'all can just kind of like chop it up on it? Went
Yeah.
to the barber. Went to the
Yeah, let's
barber
go.
shop. Of course, we talking football. My Falcons and I don't know what they're doing. I had to go in there and turn on TV. That would take me so long. So we talking football, and then they switched over, so we started talking politics.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. So I mentioned Trump, and we was talking about the blue and the red and all this kind of stuff. And so one of the dudes in the stop, he banging like he banging blue like he a crip. I'm like, bro, man, this I'm serious. This man just he just doing what he got to do to make what I'm saying to help us out. This man, he ain't said, but he pretty much say, man, you a sellout or you a racist, you something because I know you voted the way you taking up for this dude. I know you voted for him. Da, 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 da. And so ever since then, that dude ain't had two words to say to me. That dude be looking at me strange and just be like, bro, this ain't my type of Negro. But I'm not.
Wow.
I ain't, yeah. So that's my barbershop story.
Okay. Can I ask some questions, Mike?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So what I want to make sure I heard you correctly.
hmm
You guys were about to have a conversation about politics,
hmm
and I'm assuming it's a black dude.
Yeah.
And just because you weren't supportive of the Democratic Party or whatever way they running, he wanted to come and look at you like you crazy because you said something positive about the current president.
So what I said was Kamala is not black. She's Indian. Her dad is Indian, and so from that he assumed, and he assumed correctly that I wasn't a Kamala fan. So there it is. There it is.
Sort of like feminism.
Uh,
If you don't agree with feminism, automatically you're a misogynist. So
Right.
since he didn't get down with the get down, since he wasn't banging the blue
Yeah.
flag, yeah, I get it.
so my comment on that is, I'm with you, Joe. In theory and also in principle. Um, in principle, by the fact that I don't think that Kamala Harris was uh, a
Viable
worthy,
candidate.
viable presidential candidate. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying this to her own fault, but I'm saying to opportunities that she had that she missed. I think that she misrepresented. I feel like just and I'm gonna tell you my stance on the Democratic Party as it pertains to Black America. Uh,
hmm
you only hear about them when it's around election time. You only hear about what they doing. You only hear about how special you are. Kamala lost the election. You ain't heard anything from her since. Think about all the things that still need to be going on, all the foundations, all the issues that she were talking about.
hmm
Everything that she tried to push was something that she was pushing as a ploy because they wanted the opportunity to be your president.
Right.
I don't like the way that the black community panders to the Democratic Party, um,
Either.
because the Democratic Party assumes that all black people are poor, undereducated, underprivileged. They
Mm.
only speak to the black community that is quote unquote inner city, which is the community that the Democratic Party created for us,
Mm.
and they created a system to help perpetuate that. So yeah, I'm not I'm not necessarily with the Democratic agenda overall. Um, I do think that some of um the Republican views, um, I think that I like the conservative approach.
hmm
I consider myself independent because I don't think it's about red or blue really. I think it's about ideals that can benefit everyone. But I think that um, the Democratic Party and people who support Democrats, like you were talking about,
hmm
their everyone is so subjective to that community. You know, you'll
They,
never hear a Democrat, you'll never hear a Democratic candidate talk about anything that will affect people who are above middle class.
mm.
You'll never hear. the Democratic Party talking about the entrepreneurs. You never hear them really talking about small to medium businesses. Um, they only address the issues from the standpoint that black people are struggling or people in the inner city are struggling. And not that that there isn't a community that's struggling, but I think that the conversation should be how to get them out of that, how not to perpetuate that.
I
Um,
think I
I
think what it
think
sounds
that
like you're saying, real quick. I think it sounds
uh
like what you're saying. I think it sounds like what you're saying is the Democratic Party only talks to the underprivileged, poor black folk. Is what I'm hearing. Is that what you're saying?
well,
And the black community is not a monolith. Well, go ahead.
absolutely, absolutely. And I think they prey on that, man.
They
Just
do.
think about this, right? Think about the agenda of the Democratic Party once it's election time. Because again, outside of election time, you don't hear from them. You don't know
Mm,
where Kamala is right now. Joe Biden, all of a sudden, he really sick. He wasn't sick for all them time we was looking at him being sick. Now he really
mm,
sick, right? So,
right.
um, even Obama. I mean, you hear from Obama every now and then. He said, "You ain't black if you don't vote for Kamala." Like, come on, bro. Now where they at? But my
Mm,
point of saying that is this: um, if you look at our communities,
mm-hmm.
most of those communities are bound by public systems, by public assistance, in some way, shape, form, or fashion. When all of your resources are controlled by the government, meaning your housing, meaning your healthcare, meaning your food, right?
That's crazy.
Um, they control you, so
They
they
can tell you
create
what
the
to do. Right.
communities.
Right.
Well, they create the communities that we've gotten used to, and
Mm-hmm.
we create a substandard in that community. So when voting comes around, right?
Yep.
Guess what they say? I'm gonna bring more computers to the inner city. We're gonna give more money to the inner city.
Mm,
You created this.
right.
Yeah.
Bringing more money to people who don't understand how to use or benefit from money is not gonna help them.
That's
Bring
facts.
increasing welfare is not gonna help the people that are on welfare.
Mm,
That's incentivizing people to get on it.
absolutely.
I think I think that what black people don't understand is that the Democratic Party has gotten us used to handouts.
Mm,
That's what has happened.
yeah,
Question.
that's
They
facts.
don't
Question.
they don't encourage you to go out and get your own.
The Democratic Party is not just black people; it's black and white people. So
And
I hear
white,
what you, I
absolutely.
hear I hear what you're saying about the black people and how we're stupid or how they're stupid and blah blah. So what's the Caucasian people's angle, or why are they Democrats? Since you're boiling it down to black and black being the only Democrats, white people are Democrats also,
Well,
liberals. So what's the
well, so let me explain. The Democratic Party wants to suppress the middle class,
Mm,
right? So what they do is they make the issues tough on the middle class, so that now the middle class need the Democratic Party to feel that they can get out of where the situation that they're currently in.
mm,
So it's not about color necessarily. It's about classism. Working America, right?
right.
Democratic talks to working America because they want to keep you working. They want you to be able to function at the level that they put set,
so you don't think the
right?
Republicans will keep you working?
Well, the Republican Party encourages small business, right?
Small business. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish. Go ahead. Because small business is just a glorified worker. If
Mm,
you're not a conglomerate, if you're not 0.01%,
There,
you're a worker.
nobody. So let me explain. So the difference between small business and the worker is that small businesses create opportunities.
You're a
Workers
middleman.
benefits from that.
Mhm.
You see what I mean? If you're working right now, you're benefiting from somebody else taking the risk and creating that opportunity for you.
You just specify. You said
Every
small business. You said
Yeah,
small business. So you got conglomerates, the real shot callers, and then you got the small bit. Hold on. Then you got the small businesses that are nothing but foot soldiers for the conglomerates. All you're doing is just bringing the less than 1% more customers. You're just a glorified customer, not you, but small businesses are just a glorified customer. You're a recruiter, you're a marketer, just bringing in more business, and they'll throw you some trinkets, they'll throw you some loophole incentives, but you're no different than the employee.
Mm.
Think about it. Just meditate on that.
Yes, you are, brother.
Meditate on that after we stop this. I know you're gonna disagree, but meditate on this when you fall asleep tonight. Small businesses is no better than an employee. You're a glorified employee. You're being
You think
pimped
so?
by the 0.0% to bring more business, and then they'll throw you some trinkets to say thank you, sir, thank you, ma'am. But you're still subjected to the same rules as an employee. You got to keep humping to bring the people. Go ahead.
I
You think
want to.
so?
I know so.
I just want to kind of like drive Mike's point home because I do know some entrepreneurs, some doing very well and some not doing so well. And I know just watching them, not actually, well, actually being an entrepreneur myself because I had my own truck for about 2.5 years, and it's taxing. It takes all the air out you. Um, you it's it's taxing, bro. You working, you working. It's no days off. It's no days off. Nothing like that. You going on these trips and all that kind of stuff. You working. I mean, even for the ones who, whether you in food, whether you if you're doing some kind of service, you working, bro. You work really working. You almost working harder than the people who working just a 9 to 5. At least they gain some vacation time and and some sick pay and all that kind of stuff.
The game is
Not
fixed. The game is fixed unless you're Rockefeller, unless you're BlackRock, unless you're Charles Schwab. The game is fixed, bro. The game is fixed. I don't care how many houses you flipping and what you doing, bro. You still working. You working for the banks. The banks are saying, thank you, sir, for finding some rentees so that I can tax them. Here's some trinkets for you finding these renters. Bro,
mm,
unless you're part of the 0.1, bro, we all you just the tallest midget. An entrepreneur is just the tallest midget. That's how I look at it. Because like you said, you own the truck, I own the truck. I've been there, done that. I already know what's a grind. It's the same grind. It's even worse when you own because you got to put in more. I don't care if you got a driver. I had my own truck. I couldn't even stomach having somebody drive my truck because I already know how they niggas just jump in your truck and just do whatever. I couldn't even stomach it. So that's why I never had a driver. Even if I had a driver, you still gotta be subjected to what that goofball does, and then you gotta fix the problem.
absolutely.
Bro, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying it's no difference. You just get more trinkets as a small business owner.
That's it.
That's it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying don't turn around and look at the 9 to 5 like he ain't bro. Bro, we in the same boat. Unless you Rockefeller or BlackRock, unless you're you name it. Unless you one of them, don't look at me and act like I'm smaller than you, brother, because it's all a money grab at the end of the day. We're all pawns to a bigger scheme. Ken, I know you're finna rebut and refute everything we said, but I'm gonna let you rock. I yield the floor to Ken Dog.
I'm not gonna. I don't want to pose no argument, brother. Other than the fact that are you're comparing a small business owner to a person who's a W-2 employee? I just want to put this out there. 95% of businesses started as small businesses. 95% of all businesses started or originated as a small business.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere.
So my point is,
how many small businesses fail? What's the percentage on that?
a lot of businesses fail. People
You
get
throwing
fired.
He's throwing stats out there. How many small businesses fail?
Most small businesses fail.
Okay.
And they fail for poor planning. But see, this is the thing with a small business, or let's there's a so there's two different concepts, and there's one that can be one and the same. So entrepreneurship and small businesses are the same, but they are different. An entrepreneur can have small businesses. An entrepreneur is actually a small business itself. He finds and creates opportunity. That's what entrepreneurs does. Small businesses are designed to do that same thing. But my point in saying that is that um, the the Democratic Party, um, if you listen to them and you hear the issues they're talking about, um, it really doesn't hit to the advancement. It doesn't speak to entrepreneurship. It doesn't speak to uh, ownership. It doesn't speak to um,
I agree.
I would say the upper middle class. Um, and if you again, the Democratic Party doesn't want to have anything other than a lower class and an upper class because that separation allows them to have more control.
I've
Mm,
observed
Um,
that. I've
and
observed that. Yep.
and yeah, and that's my stance. Again, I'm independent because I think that it's just I think it is ignorant to try to be Republican or Democratic. I think it's ignorant to be um, conservative or liberal. I think that
mm.
just from your experiences are going to have you to have an opinion that can be on both sides of those fences at any given
That's true.
time. So I think
That's true.
I think that when you force somebody to be blue like your friend was talking about in the barbershop, um, I think you become ignorant. You become ignorant to other opportunity. I think if you're
Mm,
all red, even as a black man, if you're a Republican, I do think you can get to the point where um you're not identifying with a foundation that may have supported you in some shape, form, or fashion. But I
right.
think it's all about growth.
Mm,
I think we should all progress and look at both sides of that aisle and figure out independently what you align with. That's why I always consider myself independent. As it
mm.
goes to this black community, uh, that just talking about the recent Democratic election, I have no problem with who's in office right now. I don't support everything that dude does, but I just think that it's better for the United States than any of the candidates that we had up there. And I'm
Absolutely.
not. I'm sorry. I'm not sexist at all. But I don't think that woman. I
Omen.
don't think she was prepared to lead. And I don't think I'll ever be comfortable being led by a woman. So that's just my stance.
Final words of Joe. You got any final words on the topic?
Oh, oh yeah, most definitely. I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to shake the spot because I definitely got to get to it in the morning.
Mhm.
Let's agree what we agreed on and disagree what we disagreed on. I think this is a great podcast, man. Keep up the good work, Mike. Anytime you want me to come through, please send me a reminder. I'll definitely drop in, bro. It's no problem. Ken, it was good meeting you, bro. I appreciate the pushback. If we don't have that other side. If we don't have that pushback, then we not growing. So
That's
definitely.
right. We just
I love
echo.
that. I love that about you. Same thing.
Appreciate you, Joe, for joining us. Yeah, you go ahead and get some sleep. I know you got to get up and get at it. I got to get up
Yes,
too,
sir.
but so I'll send you a text. We'll link up again. All
Okay, Mike. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you having me, man. Y'all have a blessed night.
right, brother. You too.
You too,
All
brother.
right.
Be
Peace.
blessed.
All right. Y'all do the same.